All right, today we're going to dive into one of the most powerful books ever written, Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Think of it as a roadmap, a journey that takes you from being dependent on others to being truly independent and then to something even better, interdependence. So let's get right into it.
Does this sound a little familiar? I bet we all know someone like this. You know, that person who can go on for hours complaining about stuff they have absolutely no control over. The government, the economy, the weather, you name it. Well, this is a perfect example of what Covey calls a reactive mindset.
And here's where the two paths really split. See, reactive people, they pour all their energy into their circle of concern, all the stuff they can't actually do anything about. And what happens? They end up just blaming everything and everyone else. But proactive people, they focus their energy on their circle of influence, the things they can actually control. So instead of blaming the market, they're asking, okay, how can I make my product better? How can I sharpen my skills?
This choice, this fundamental split between focusing on what you can control versus what you can't, is the absolute core of the very first habit. It's about that conscious shift from being a passenger just reacting to life's twists and turns, to grabbing the steering wheel and actually becoming the driver of your own life.
So why is it so easy to fall into that reactive trap? Well, it's pretty simple, really. Complaining is easy. It takes zero effort. But asking that question, how can I improve? Well, that demands responsibility. It demands hard work and real dedication. Our brains are kind of wired to save energy, so if we're not careful, they'll always drift towards that easier, reactive path.
And that right there brings us to habit number 1, be proactive. It's all about making a conscious choice to put your time and your energy where it's actually going to make a difference, on the things you can change. Honestly, this one shift is the absolute first step to becoming truly effective.
Now, these first 3 habits together are what Covey calls the private victory. This is all about the inside job. It's an inward journey of mastering yourself, of moving from being dependent on other people and circumstances to becoming truly independent. To really get the next habit, Covey uses this incredibly powerful thought experiment. Just imagine this for a second. You're at a funeral. You walk up to the casket to pay your respects, and you look inside and you see yourself. What do you want people to say about you? And maybe even more important, what do you want to be able to say about the life that you lived?
Thinking about that, it forces you to confront what you really truly value, doesn't it? Are the things you do every single day, how you treat people, the work you put out into the world, are they actually lining up with that final eulogy? Or are you just letting things slide, maybe choosing comfortable mediocrity over a life that's really filled with purpose? And this whole idea leads us perfectly into the second habit, begin with the end in mind. It means you've got to define your own personal mission statement, your own vision for your life, and then use that as the compass to guide every single decision you make. But here's the catch for a lot of us, right? There's this massive, horrible disconnect. If I asked you what's most important to you, you'd probably say things like your family, your relationships, your health. But if we looked at your calendar, would it actually show that? Or would we see it's jam-packed with admin tasks, mindless scrolling, and a bunch of other stuff that doesn't really line up with what you say you value? And that brings us right to habit number 3. Put first things first. This is where the rubber meets the road. It's where that vision you created in habit 2 becomes a reality. It's the discipline day by day, moment by moment, to organize your life around your real priorities and to choose what's truly important over what's just urgent and screaming for your attention. Okay, so once you've achieved that private victory, once you've become this independent, principled-centered person, then you're ready for what Covey calls the public victory. This is where we shift from I to we. It's all about building incredibly effective relationships and collaborating with other people. Here's a great way to think about it. Imagine you have 2 authors. Now, they could see each other as competition, right? But instead, one of them reads the other's book, absolutely loves it, and shares it with their own audience. Then, the second author does the same thing, and suddenly, boom, they've both reached thousands of new readers they never would have on their own. That, my friends, is a classic win-win mindset. It's this deep belief that life isn't a zero-sum game. You know, it's not a pie where if you get a slice, that means there's less for me. The reality is, there's plenty of pie to go around for everyone. And yep, you guessed it, that brings us to habit 4. Think win-win. It's a commitment, a mindset to always look for that mutual benefit in every single interaction you have.
You know, I could sit here and tell you how hard I worked on this explainer and that you should subscribe because of it. But honestly, who cares how hard I worked? The only real question is, are you getting value out of this? Is it worth your time? That approach is the absolute heart of the very next habit.
So here it is, habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Think about it. Most of us listen with the intent to reply. We're not really listening, we're just waiting for our turn to talk. This habit is all about flipping that script, developing deep, empathetic listening so you truly understand the other person before you even try to get your own point across. It's like being a doctor. You have to diagnose before you can prescribe a solution.
So, what happens when you start combining these public victory habits? Well, imagine two people standing by an apple tree. They're both too short to reach the apples on their own. But what if one sits on the other's shoulders? Together, they can easily get all of them.
This is what synergy is all about. It's this beautiful idea that through creative cooperation, we can come up with results that are so much bigger and better than what any one of us could have achieved on our own.
And that's why it's not just addition, it feels more like multiplication. With true creative cooperation, 1 + 1 doesn't just equal 2. It can equal 3 or 10 or even 100. It's magic.
And that brings us to habit number 6, synergize. This is really the culmination of all the previous habits, putting them all to work to create amazing new things through real teamwork.
And finally, we get to the habit that makes all the other habits possible. This is the habit of renewal, the habit of constantly getting better.
Think about this old story. There's a guy who's been trying to saw down a tree for hours. He's sweating, he's exhausted, he's getting nowhere fast. A neighbor comes by and says, "Hey, why don't you take a break and sharpen your saw?" And the man, totally frazzled, replies, "I can't, I'm too busy sawing."
We laugh, but come on, we do this all the time, don't we? We're too busy to go to the gym, too busy to read a book that could help us, too busy to just connect with the people we love. Habit 7, sharpen the saw, is about taking the time to renew yourself, physically, mentally, socially, and spiritually. It's not a waste of time. It's the investment that makes all your other time effective.
So there you have it, the 7 habits that really build the foundation of a truly effective life. This isn't about quick tips or life hacks, it's about building your character from the inside out. So the real question for you is, which one of these bricks are you going to lay down first?